Hello students, welcome once again to Angrejimaster, your own YouTube channel. Dear students, do you know, like the national flower lotus, national bird peacock, we have a national animal too. Yes dears, you are right, it's tiger. But do you have any idea what category does it fall into? Extinct or endangered? Fortunately, it's not yet extinct. But my dear friends, it's not out of danger. It is said that in 1910 there were thousands of tigers. In 2010 there are few thousand tigers. In 2110 we'll have to say ek tha tiger. And to avoid this unfortunate scenario, the government decided to develop wildlife sanctuaries and zoos for their captive breeding and preservation. But as ill luck would have it, captivity proved counterproductive. Their number continued to dwindle. Such callous is human being that to expose it, a zoo in Zambia has a cell with a mirror in it with the caption, "World's most dangerous animal." Yes, dear friends, we humans are not only putting animals' life at risk, but also encroaching their habitat, forcing them to wander in human settlements for food. This has led to a bitter conflict between man and animal. Can you guess what it might lead to? It might result into extinction of the entire human race. A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris from your book First Flight has beautifully summed up this idea. But before we go any further, I would like you people to help me. Please help me matching the right meanings with the words over here in this table. Take 2 minutes to do so. Thank you, sweethearts. Here are the answers. Dear students, before going any further, let us talk about the poet Leslie Norris, winner of innumerable honors and awards. Leslie Norris was a famous Welsh poet and short story writer. Poetry was his passion, so much so that he at a very early age decided to become a poet. After getting married with Catherine, he moved to England and worked as a teacher there. He shot to fame with his first publication, Finding Gold. A Tiger in the Zoo is one of his most loved poems. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. Let's read the poem once and say which stanzas speak about the tiger in the zoo and which ones about the tiger in the jungle. A tiger in the zoo. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet, quiet, in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass, near the waterhole where plum deer pass. He should be snarling round houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Now, dear friends, try to categorize the words and the phrases given in the box under the following heads: wild, or zoo? The answers are given in the description. Dear students, now let us try to explain the poem stanza by stanza, line by line. After the explanation of each stanza, there shall be some questions which you should try to solve. You'll find the answers to all those questions in the description below. So here we go. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. The poet compares the behavior of a tiger when he is in a zoo with when he is in his natural habitat, the jungle. In this particular stanza, the poet describes the appearance of the tiger in the zoo and its plight through its movements. He says that the tiger moves up and down in the cage. The stripes on his body can be distinguished even from far, as they are bright and colorful. The tiger walks quietly without making a sound because of his smooth velvet pads. The tiger is able to walk only a few steps because of the fact that the cage is very small. He covers that distance in a few steps only. The tiger is full of anger, but it is suppressed. His anger is suppressed because he knows that he is helpless there. The poet uses repetition of the word quiet to pronounce and emphasize the helplessness of the tiger in captivity. Now try these questions. Now the second stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the waterhole where the plump deer pass. The poet is filled with pity while looking at the imprisoned tiger. The poet imagines another life for the tiger other than the zoo. He says that the poor tiger should have been in his natural habitat, that is, in the wild forest. He says that under normal conditions, this tiger would have been moving in the darkness, not in the clear day night. It would have been lying in the shadow of trees or hiding itself behind long grass so that its prey would not be able to detect its movements. In this way, the tiger would have moved near the waterhole where all the animals of the forest come to drink on sunny afternoons. There, near the waterhole, he would be waiting for some fat deer to pass that way. Thus, he would be lying there in expectation of a heavy feast. Now, try to solve these questions. The third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. The poet says that even though he would prefer the tiger to live in the wild, it would not lose all the touch with human civilization. He imagines what the tiger will do in case he failed to find any prey in his natural habitat. He says that the tiger would be growling at the edge of the jungle near some village or human settlement. He would be showing his white fangs and claws while moving here and there with the intention of scaring all the inhabitants of that village. He would thus become a cause of terror for the villagers. The poet here gives a hint that if we destroy or encroach the natural habitat of tigers, they will be forced to turn to our towns and villages to find their food. Now try these questions. The fourth stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. The tiger caged in a small concrete cell in the zoo, feels like a prisoner in the jail. Despite all his strength, he now lies imprisoned behind the bars. He pays no attention to the visitors who come to see him every day at the zoo. Instead, he very slowly paces up and down along the length of the cage. Now try these questions. The last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the petroling cars, and stares with the brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. In this stanza, the poet describes the daily routine of the tiger. The tiger cannot rest during the day because of the visitors. Even at night, it stays awake till the very last voice of the zookeeper locking up and going home can be heard. Even after that, it does not go to sleep. All night, it remains disturbed due to the noise of the patrolling cars. He keeps staring at the brilliant stars with his brilliant eyes. Perhaps he is asking the heaven why he has been imprisoned there, or he is longing for freedom looking at the stars that seem to be promising a bright future. Dear students, now try these questions. Here are some poetic devices. Try to go through them carefully. Now the theme. The poem is a beautiful representation of the plight of animals. It is a shame that such a powerful, agile, and untamable animal like that of a tiger should be kept in a zoo. In his natural and wild environs, he doesn't need any assistance to get his food. His hunting of deer at the waterhole may seem rather cruel. He hunts not for pleasure, but for food. His presence in the natural habitat is necessary to maintain the balance of food chain. Sometimes the tiger may stray into human habitation. He only displays his strength and ferociousness, but he doesn't harm anyone till he is provoked. Even in the cage, he ignores all those who come to the zoo to see him as entertainment. Like human beings, the tiger too loves and values his freedom. He shows his anger, hatred, and even defiance by walking about in rage in his cage. Human progress should not be at the cost of destroying the natural habitats of untamable and proud animals like the tiger, which happens to be the most important part of the food chain and ecological balance. If this continues, the day is not far when we would have to tell the next gen, Ek tha tiger. Dear friends, do like, share and subscribe Angrejimaster, and do not forget pressing the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you.